Hey there, it's Jake from GeoTargetly, and in this tutorial I will be showing you one of our features called Geo Consent. And if you ask what is Geo Consent, it's basically this pop-up that you see at the bottom left of the screen. This is rendered by GeoTargetly, and basically Geo Consent is a geo-targeted consent collection form that discloses that you're using cookies on your site, and it automatically is able to pass the consent via the Google Consent mode onwards, and it informs your customers about what your privacy policy is. If you want to learn more about Geo Consent, there's nothing simpler than to go over here under products and then click on Geo Consent, which will take you to our product page for Geo Consent. And if you scroll through the page, you can learn more about how it works, how you can set it custom based on location, customize it and everything. And that's actually what I will be showing you in this tutorial. So with that, let's go into GeoTargetly. Sorry, this is where I wanted to start, and let's just minimize this. I'll move onwards over here and let's get into it. So once you log into GeoTargetly, and you can get a 14-day free trial of GeoTargetly by going to geotargetly.com and then clicking try 14 days free in any of its manifestations. And once you get into the product, basically you want to either navigate to Geo Consent via here, or you can select it from the sidebar over here. As you can see, as of the time of recording, this Geo Consent is actually one of our most recent features. So if you have any feedback in regards to it, we would be more than happy to hear you out. Let's start by clicking over here on Add to Site, and there's going to be this pop-up. And basically what this pop-up allows you to choose is whether you want to go with our predefined Geo Consent that's tailored for European GDPR, or whether you want to start from scratch with custom consent, which allows you to kind of tailor it to your needs. You can still do all of the customization even with the EU GDPR version, but if you feel like you need to capture consent from, I don't know, based on Californian consent laws, custom consent is a better way to start. As I'm now located in Czech Republic, I will be going with the EU GDPR, as a lot of the stuff is taken care of already, but I'll still explain everything. So let's just choose EU GDPR. Let's rename our setup GDPR, for example, and first step in the general setup, or first step of the setup, is the general setup. And over here you need to specify like where do you want to run the consent. Usually you want to run consent across all pages of your website. That's why over here we'll just go with geotargetly.com. But should you want to decide that you want to run the consent only on certain pages of your site or only on a single page of the website, it's fairly simple to do. You just select either this option, which in the second step allows you to list the pages that you want to run the consent on, or use this option, and that will run the consent only on this specific page of your website, no other pages, even if the tracking code is implemented there. But as I said, usually you want to run it on any page that the visitor might get to your page through. So let's just go with GeoTargetly and let's go to the next step. As I said, for the EU GDPR kind of pre-made consent, there's a lot of stuff already defined. And one of the definitions that's already there is the location rules. So as you can see, all of the European countries are already matched or already displayed over here in the location segment. So basically the way that any GeoTargetly service works is that you can specify for which locations, which countries, which cities an action should be taken. And for over here, we're saying that this consent should be running only for the European countries. But let's say that you want to also capture consent from customers or visitors to your site from California. So let's add one more location segment. Let's call it California. And over here under locations, we will just select state region and put in California. As you might have noticed, basically country and state/region is not the only way to target geotargetly. You can also select continents or regions, countries, states or regions, cities, latitude and longitude plus a radius around it, or an IP address or an IP range. But let's just go with this. Now let's return to our Europe segment, and from location rule we will move onwards to the form design. This is where you can customize your form. And basically we already pre-filled most of this for you, and if you want to change it, see how it changes based on your preferences, you just hit this preview button and you can see that this is our current version of the privacy pop-up. Let's say that, okay, I want to make it a bit more approachable. Let's say instead of your privacy, let's say use cookies. If I and you can see it update in real time. Let's say that I don't like the blue, but I want to make it darker, or go all the way black. We can do that. You can change pretty much everything here, including the text. And also, as you can see, there's a link to privacy policy. The way this works in our template is that this is always going to say privacy policy if you include this specific phrase anywhere in your copy. So dash dash privacy dash policy dash link dash dash, and basically this tells the copy to place the privacy policy clickable link anywhere inside it, and after that you can paste over here the privacy policy that you have on your site. What we would do for GeoTargetly is we would just grab the privacy policy link from over here. So I would do this, and that would be the setup. Let's say that for the Californian version, I'll just close the preview over here. I want to do pretty much very similar stuff, but let's say that I want to invert it. It would be a black pop-up with white text, and I can do that. I can change the policy here. I can change the link the privacy policy leads to if I have different privacy policies for different regions. Also, if you want, you can run the the consent pop-up across your whole site, and for whole audience, across all of the visitors. And for that, you would just use all other location segments. You would just turn this on and customize the form design over here. And basically what this would do is for anybody who does not fit the criteria specified in any of the location segments above, it would still show the segment, it would show the pop-up, the consent pop-up, and it can be customized to fit that need. But let's say I only want to do it for Europe now, so I'll just turn this off and I'll delete the Californian location segment. Now let's say that I'm satisfied with this. And what we can do now is move on to the next step of the setup, or sorry, let's do one more thing, which is let's take a look at the page exclusion. Basically, I can say that there might be some pages across my site that I do not want the consent for to be displayed on. So I can just say, okay, if URL contains, I don't know, let's not run it on the pricing page. I'm not sure why you would, but just as an idea, if the URL contains pricing, it should not be contained. Or we might say that for the testing purposes, let's say that the query, if query contains no consent, basically if I would do this and then on my page, if I don't want the consent form to show up, I could do like after the URL ? no consent, and that should prevent the consent form from being displayed. This is also the place in which you can specify what pages to run it on if in the previous step you select the second option. Sorry about the cut in the video. Basically, as I was saying, if on the step 1 you chose the second option, geo display consent, in selected pages of the website, in the second step, in the location steps, you will see one more option over here, which is page inclusions. And similarly to page inclusions, you might select which pages to instead run it on. So if I say any of the pages that contain, for example, pricing, it should be run on, I edit, and then only the pages that contain this in their URL will be displaying the consent. But as I said, I want to run it on all pages of my website. Moving onwards onto the step 3, which is advanced settings. And on the advanced setting page, sorry, let me just close this. On the advanced page, on the advanced setting page, what you can do is you can set up the timeout. So basically what this does is it tells GeoTargetly not to render the consent for visitors in case they already either saw the consent form or clicked the content form. In the EU GDPR template, what we're doing is we're saying to set this to 720 hours. I believe this is something like 30 days in advance. And then you need to select, or we advise to select start cookie timer when button is clicked. Also, what you can do is instead set it to start cookie timer when consent form becomes visible. So even without clicking on it, it will not be shown to customer until this time expires for that specific visitor. If you set this to 0, as we show it over here, even if the customer clicks or sees the pop-up, it will be shown to them on every visit, on every page. So this is our recommended settings, but you can mess around with them if you want. Perfect. Next step is the generation of the code. So once you're happy and done with your setup, you just hit save either over here or over here. And what that does is it generates the tracking code, JavaScript tracking code that needs to be implemented into your site. And that will be the next thing that we look into. But before we do that, I want to mention how we are actually making sure that the user clicking on the consent form leads to the cookie being tracked as agreeing or consenting to collection of the data. And basically what that the way that we do that is by Google consent mode. So basically this is automatic. Once you implement the tracking code onto your site, you no longer need to do anything else because through Google consent mode, the cookies will be sent to Google as the personal information being captured for these specific cookies. Cool. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at how to implement it. So basically, I will be using just the JavaScript over here, but we have a detailed description for every or not every, but most of the CMSs that are available, or at least the big ones. And the most important part is that the code needs to get into the head tag of your HTML. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to clipboard, and basically I'll show you right now specifically how we do it for Webflow, because Webflow is the CMS that our page runs on. So there are two ways to do this. You can either do it globally across all of the pages of your site, or you can do it for a specific page. If you want to do it globally so that the tracking code runs on every page of your site, what you would do is you would open the settings of the page, and under there you would go into custom code. And basically, as I shown you over here, it needs to be in the head tag, which means you would just put it over here across or alongside the tracking codes for Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics and so on, and you can see that our Geo Consent is already implemented here. That's why I won't be changing it here, and instead I'll just show you how to implement it for a specific page. If you then open the designer, let's say that I want to run it on this specific page, and over here you'll just hit the cogwheel and you'll go down to head, custom code inside head tag, and you'll paste it over here. I already went ahead and pasted a tracking code for a different setup for this, but you can see that it is Geo Consent. So then what you would do is hit save, and under here you would publish it to production. But I already did that to save us a couple seconds of waiting for the production to be updated. And basically what you can do now is check it out by going to your page, and it should be already published. So if I visit this page, you can see, I'll just move myself once again, you can see that the privacy policy or privacy pop-up consent pop-up is already displayed, and it's not the same design as I shown you because the other tracking code had different parameters, but this is what it looks like. And also when I clicked accept all, and then if I refresh the page, because there's the timer of 720 hours, it's not being displayed again. Cool. So that's as simple as it gets with the implementation. And now let's talk about how to make sure or how to troubleshoot if the pop-up is not showing up on your page. The first thing that I would suggest that you do is going over here under subscription and check that you have enough page views left in your account, because if you do not have any page views left, this will not trigger for you. Second thing that you can do is going over here and checking whether there are page views being delivered. As you can see on the one that I implemented, there are page views there, but it's just the two that I recently clicked on. For the other one, you can see not striking over here, because that means that there are no page views tracked, or the code was not triggered yet. And that's correct, because I have not implemented this setup anywhere. Another way to test is by going to the page that you expect the tracking code to be triggered on. And what you will do there is click the second mouse button and then inspect, or go into developer tools and reach the network. And under network, what you can do is type into the search bar GeoCon or Geo Consent, and if I refresh the page, I should see the tracking code. Sorry, let me just grab it from over here so that there are no issues. And you can see that there are the tracking code is being triggered here. You can actually see two of them. One is our global one, and the other one is the one that I just implemented. But in your case, it should be just the one that you implemented, but this is all right. So as long as you see it here, that means that the code is being triggered. And you can also see whether it's the same code as you just implemented. And you can see that the ID of my setup is OP underscore and then something. So I can see that the OP underscore is being triggered, so that's okay. And the status code is 200, which means that it is indeed getting triggered. Another way to test would be to try via our built-in test mode. And for that, sorry, I'll just try out with a, let me just jump behind the VPN over here for privacy reasons, but basically VPN is also a good way to test. So let's say that if I say I want to run a different consent for a different region, I don't know, for California, as I was showing you, what I can do is I can use a VPN to simulate my location to be as if in California. And if I get into the page with the California IP address, I should see different content based on my location. And finally, we have a built-in test mode. So basically, I can simulate any location without using a VPN for my IP address. So the way to do that is you go into the setup for which you want to simulate the location for your IP address. You need to establish what your IP address is. We have a need-free tool over here for that. And as you saw, I set my VPN to Paris, or France, so I'm getting this IP address. I would just take it, put it over here, and let's say I want to set it to California, or let's just do USA, United States, why not? That's simpler. And then you need to hit on to turn the tracking, to test mode on, and then finally hit save. And now your IP address is simulated as if it's coming from United States for this specific setup. If you have multiple geo-targeted setups, it will be simulating it just for this specific setup. Cool. Let me just check my notes to see whether there's anything else going on. I wanted to show you two more things, which is the analytics. So basically, for each of the setups in GeoTargetly, you can check how many page views or how many times it was triggered, and you can see this broken down by location segment, so that we can see that right now today there were so far 3 page views consumed by this setup, and I can check, yes, all 3 of them were captured by this location segment, because we have just one location segment, but should there be more location segments, they would show up as a separate line items over here. Cool, so that's the analytics, and basically this reconciles with the total page view quota that you purchased from GeoTargetly. So if I hit exit right now, and if I go into subscription, over here you can see that today I consumed 3 page views, and those are the 3 page views that I that I consumed via Geo Consent, but should I have more than one setup running in this specific account, which I don't, the sum for the given day would be the sum of page views consumed across all of the setups of Geo Targetly. Cool, so that's the analytics. And if you are not, if you weren't able to find everything that you were looking for in this specific video, you can also consult our resources. So basically, on the GeoTargetly site under resources and docs, that will get you to this page, and that will get you to Geo Consent, and there are several things that you can see over here. Basically, you can get to our help page from here, which contains, you can see how it works, you can see the key features of Geo Consent, but also you can see the definitions, how to integrate it, how to test it, basically everything that I was showing you here. And also there is kind of a slideshow version of this video for every of our features, which we call quick start guide. And if I click on this, that should take me to the Geo Consent quick start guide, where the same stuff as I walked you through is described and shown just on a slideshow form, which might be more your speed or better to follow for you. Finally, if this does not answer your questions, there are two more ways that you can get in touch with us. It is either via our support on our page, which you can check from over here, and you can chat with our support team in real time, or you can write an email to support@geotargetly.com. Finally, in case when you're setting up Geo Consent, the feature or the app looks different, that might be due to us launching new versions of the feature of the app. And in order to kind of reconcile what you're seeing with reality, I would invite you to check out our roadmap or our changelog, our updates of what we published, and you can see like, hey, this is what we've been publishing recently, and you can see that even recently there's quite a lot of updates on the new versions of GeoTargetly. You can find them under this link. It will be in the description. I believe that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you. So I'll just thank you so much for watching, and I'll say if you have any feedback, please get in touch with us, and I hope you'll have a great day.